Thank you so much, first of all, Roa, for your time. And so basically the training is just about, so initially it will be covering some of the information about Strathclyde, about Glasgow, that's where it's located, and also some points about Scotland as well. And then I'll be focusing on mainly is the postgraduate for the Strathclyde program. So first of all, I always like to say first, which is the Strathclyde, the name of it, because I know I get many students and like even people from my own industry, even agents asking me what does Strathclyde mean, and it's very difficult to pronounce. I get that, so just to give you solve the riddle. So basically, Strathclyde consists of two words. So the Strath is actually a Scottish word, means valley. And then the Clyde is the name of the river that runs through Glasgow. Okay, so yeah, so it's actually got a beautiful name. It means the river, the valley, and with the Clyde River on it. So it's actually very beautiful. So I think when we always put this at very big font letters, which is the place of useful learning, because this is integrated in all of our courses, especially for postgraduate, because students are always wanting for like practical elements, especially when the postgraduate is so short, it's only 12 months. So students want to have as much as hands-on experience as they can. So yeah, I'll talk a bit more details in it when I talk about faculties and courses. The big thing that sets Strathclyde different from many other universities in the industry is that we are very much a practical university. Okay. And you can't really talk about a university without talking about where it's located. So, Scotland, that's where we're located, and then obviously in the whole UK, it's made of 4 countries. So that's England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So despite the fact that we are quite small in a way, but we do have like 18 universities actually in Scotland. So in terms of education, we have a long history. We have universities that are dated hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And even us, we are actually not a young university at all. We actually have a history of over 250 years. Okay, so it's been evolving quite a lot throughout the hundreds of years. And then I will send the slides on to you later on, so don't worry if you can't read them all. So there is quite a lot of information on the slides. Another thing I would like to mention is that in Scotland, we are actually quite blessed in a way that we do have a lot of natural resources. Like, we have the oil and gas, we have the wind, energy, and then also we have huge like land and everything. So these actually really helping us in terms of, life sciences, and then also oil and gas, renewable energy. These actually gives us a lot of benefit in terms of how we can do our research in a leading way. And also we do have industries really wanted to invest in us in terms of either collaborative projects or in terms of researches, which makes our research and engagement within the industry very much leading and advanced, so that students really have the great opportunity to be able to engage, and not just engage, but also involve heavily with their employer while they're actually studying with us, rather than graduating and then start looking for a job. So they basically are one step ahead of many students. Okay. And then here are just another picture of what our scenery is actually like. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you would know what this. I'm sure many universities would mention this, like Durham or Royal Holloway. They always mention this. That's because they took so many scenes from across the whole UK. But this is probably one of the famous one is the flying car that, they fly over the bridge. So because I'm a Harry Potter fan myself, so I actually did take the train myself. And so it's actually still runnable. It's like a commuting and train from a place called Fort William and then to another city called Malek. So So I think it's about just over an half, just over an hour and a half hour, I think. Yeah, so you can do it during the day. But also, if you look at the bridge, you can go underneath. So if you're a hiking person, you can go underneath. That's a great hiking route. So I've done both. So I've been on the train, and also I've done the hiking route as well. And then when you were quite far away, when you hiked over to the mountain, and then when you can check the train times. You check the train time when the train comes over, and then they actually haunt to you. It's actually really cool. Yeah. So I basically, this is just give you an idea of what else student can do outside of their study, because I'm sure you would agree that, when a student trying to looking for study abroad opportunity, it's not just the university and not just the course itself. It's a packaging. It's about like what I can do in a big city, what the job opportunities are there. So Glasgow actually has it all to offer. I'll tell you in a minute. So a bit of the selling points, actually, like the really good points that we have been doing over the many years, is that I think I'm not gonna mention them all, but the one I'm actually gonna mention is that we are, if you look at this university or University of the Year, that we are the only university we actually won it twice. So probably usually there's about over 100 universities in the UK, but I think people kind of take turns, but we're the only one that's won it twice. And also in terms of international students, we have over altogether we have over, now I think it's about 25,000 now, but like 20% of them are actually international students. I mean, the South Korean community is relatively small. I mean, but that's why we're really actively trying to do it. But at the moment, we don't have any student currently studying us on campus. But I have actually, because I did reach out to British Council in South Korea, and they actually managed to find some alumni information to me. So what I will do is I'll get in touch with them to see if they are happy to be involved in any future sessions or any alumni event. And if they do, I'll let you know, because those will be the voice for us to tell you how their experience has been during their study with us. And the person that I actually got in touch with, he studied, I think it was to do with engineering. I can't remember on top of my head, but I'll double check, but it's definitely one of the engineering master course that he studied with us. Yeah. Okay. So another thing I want to mention on this one is the research. So we are a research intensive university in the UK. I mean, many universities in the UK are focused on different things. They might focus on arts, they might sports, but usually, so for the universities that are ranked very high, they usually were a research incentive, because one of the biggest criteria for the ranking is to look at the research area, and then also the citing and how much funding, etc., that you've brought in. So because we were able to lead in a research area, so that's why our ranking in the world rank is actually really good. So we rank 248 this year, I believe. It's actually been going up every year. So it moved up from just outside 300 to like 240 something. Yeah. Okay. And then talk about Glasgow, which I can never get bored of talking Glasgow, because I've lived in England for 5 years myself, but I've now lived in Glasgow for 7 years now, coming up to 8. So yeah, so the reason I actually moved to Glasgow is because of when I took the job. So yeah, in 2018, yeah, so I ended up staying here all the time. So yeah, and I've been working with Strathclyde, so I've never changed jobs. So it's basically moved to Glasgow because of the job in Strathclyde, and I just stayed here ever since. There's just something about Glasgow, it really amazed me, is that, I've obviously gone through 7 years of time. I've gone through some life-changing, parts for my personal life. And I just feel like in every stage of my personal life, there's something I can do to meet the demand that I need for this country. So for example, because I had my son, and then, obviously changed from, professional life into some of the family life as well. And I just found even as a professional life, there's just so much like restaurants and bars and live music going on. It's just a very vibrant city. And then moving on to my life, that I had my son and I needed some like community for kids, and then later on like community again for like kids activity for like older kids, if you know what I mean. So because my son is 8 now, so like Glasgow, there's so much you can offer. There's a lot of like activity events going on, like, and also there's parks. That's what I really particularly really like. There's so many things you can do. And then again, like the vibrancy of the city never goes away. And then every time you go to the shopping, the city center, it's just very friendly. And then there's always places you can go, restaurant, food, live music, and sports and games, and just you name it. So it's just it's a city offers a lot to everybody. And that's why I always say to some of our mature students, they have their family, they end up and bring their family back to the UK and to Glasgow, not Edinburgh but Glasgow, because they found Glasgow is much more suitable for living. Because I thought also it's like the pace for the life is quite slow, and then it's much more affordable compared to, I'm not even going to compare to London, but I'm comparing even to Edinburgh. It's much cheaper, much affordable, much more family friendly. Yeah. And we actually, if you look at this Commonwealth game, we held it in 2014. And then we also held the European Championship in 2018. We will be actually hosting the Commonwealth game in 2026. So this year in summertime again. So we're actually really proud and really looking forward to it. So, and that actually will be in coincident with the Edinburgh Fringe, which is I don't know if you knew, but it's the most famous like art festival in summertime. So yes, it'll basically be there at the same time, and then that'll be great. It'll be a great time to visit Glasgow and then Edinburgh, visit Scotland all together. Yeah. And then in terms of location, again, I think it's a great location in terms of how it's just so easy to get around to most of the European countries. But if you look at look at the connection globally, it's well connected as well as that. I mean, well, it has been, so not at the moment, because obviously because the Middle East situation, now we can't really fly through Dubai. But when there's no war, what I've been taken on the Dubai, the Emirates fly, so all of my trips, so it's so easy. So you fly from Glasgow to Dubai, and then from Dubai, then you can go to any, for the Emirates, you get to the many different, cities like either Tokyo or Seoul, China, and then all the Southeast Asia country, Hanoi, like Kuala Lumpur. So it's just all great, just very convenient. So it takes me like less than a day just to to get over. So we're fingers crossed the war will be over very soon. So yeah, and then if you look at the university location, so Glasgow, I forgot to mention that Glasgow is actually the fourth largest city in the UK. So now we have London, we have Birmingham, we have Manchester, then it's us. So sometimes it depends on how you compare it. We're actually similar sized compared to Manchester, okay? But like I mentioned, the living expenses are so much cheaper compared to even to Manchester, okay? So the living expenses are so much more affordable. And then because it's a big city, so there are actually 4 universities, actually, if you don't know, there are actually 4 universities in Glasgow. So we are the only one that's in the city center. Okay. So if you can see, those blue areas are city center. So everything is like centrally located, and then you don't really need to walk too far away. This green area is called George Square. At the moment, it's under renovation because we're getting ready for the Commonwealth game that I just mentioned. We have 2 stations. So we have the Queen Street station, which connects you to all the Scottish cities, like Scottish, like the smaller cities, okay? And then so that's only like 5 minutes or like 10 maximum walk away, 10 minutes walk away, because I walk really fast. So it's very close for me. But if you go to the Glasgow Central, and then that station connects you to all the major cities in in England or Wales, like Manchester, direct trains to Manchester, Birmingham, or to London. Yeah, and then so I think go a train journey down to London, it's only like 4.5 hours, so which is not really far at all. Yeah, and then so I can see there's a lot of museums, and then merchant cities like the vibrant city where we have the bars and restaurants, and then we have the Glasgow Green, which is the park, the biggest city center park that I talked about. Okay. So yeah, it's in the heart, in the cities. It's busy, and then it's very cheap to get around. You can literally just walk to go to everywhere. And then campus investment. Okay, we have spent a lot of money trying to invest our campus just so that our students can get a good, enjoy the best facility that they deserve. Okay, so the top is the learning and teaching building, which is just that is actually the newest building. It was actually built within the pandemic. So I think it was August 2023, I believe. Yeah. So the brand new student union is on the second floor. Okay, so the whole floor is run by our students, but obviously with the support of our university staff. Here, this is my this is my favorite of all times, the sports center. Yeah, I do go there all the time. And then it's very cheap for not just for staff, but also for students. So I think a yearly membership fee, it's only £180. The membership covers all the fee. You have dance studio, you have a swimming pool, and you have all the yoga classes, and the badminton court and basketball. Everything's included, and you can have your personal training, but you need to make an appointment. That is only £180 per year. That is very cheap. I'm sure I saw some Korean students when I was in the gym. I just didn't really want to go speak to them. It seems very weird, but I'm sure they're Koreans, but I just don't know whether they were doing undergraduate or postgraduate. And then yes, but yeah, so the sports center, I always talk quite a lot about it because I just personally love it so much. Yeah, because it was only built 2018, literally the same time when I joined the university. I joined the university in November 2018, and then not long after that, the sports center was open. Yeah. Okay, and then so this bottom one is the science faculty. So, our laboratories and all the facilities, everything is within this building. Okay, here is a little bit more about the high employabilities that I did mention some of them because a lot of the reasons of the employability for international students are actually to do with strong links with the industry. I mean, some examples are like Google, for example, and NHS, which is the National Health Service, so that basically runs all the hospitals in the UK. Okay, but also like some engineering companies like Scottish Power and Scottish Water, who provides all the electricity and gas and water across the whole Scotland. Yeah. Okay, so we move on to the faculties that we don't have medical school, unfortunately, but what I have been noticed is that we have had quite many students, especially from South Korea, applying for MPharm, so pharmacy. Yeah, I'll talk about in a minute. So yeah, so we have a faculty of science, we have faculty of business school, have faculty of engineering, and also we have the humanity and social science faculties. So we offer a wide range of courses that covers like humanities and communication, which is number one in the UK, and also law, education, and psychological science, and etc. So again, like I said, I will send you the slides later on, so yeah, so you can have another read of it. But yeah, many of our courses are ranked number one in the UK. And if we do go on to engineering, our engineering faculty is very, very big because it's got a long history. Because when the university was launched 200 years ago, it was actually an engineering institution. So a lot of focus was actually on the engineer side. So if you can have a look in not only with the traditional engineering that we could offer, like chemical engineering, civil, and electronic engineering, for example, we can also offer naval architecture and ocean and marine engineering. So it's one of the very, very strong subjects that we can offer. And then also these subjects are not all university can offer. Yeah, just bear that in mind. Okay. And again, ranks are very, very phenomenal. So all ranked top 10 in the UK, and then some of them Marines number 1, chemicals number 4, for example. So, and then, but all as a package, like I can say, our engineering are very much resourceful, so we are able to provide students with many resources, not just teaching resources, but also like nature resources and research resources that students can all benefiting from studying with us. Okay, so just quickly mention some very niche subjects. So the first one is a 24-month course. Like I say, all across the UK, the postgraduate are 12 months, so it's 1 year full time. And this one is not one of the few 24-month courses, which is advanced electrical power and energy system. So the second year will be very much engaged within the industry. So it's a lot of practical project that student has to do. Another one that with the industrial placement is the advanced mechanical engineering with industrial placement. That's 6 months of the placement. So you have in 12 months for the study and then 6 months for the placement. Okay. And we do have another one, which was the Hamburg, so ship and offshore technology. That's to do, again, this 12-month course, and that is 1 year with Hamburg University in Germany, and then 1 year in Glasgow. Okay. Okay, and then if we move on to the renewable energy, so again, look, because we're so good, we're so strong in terms of resourceful in this area, so we're actually able to, distinguish our sustainable engineering through different streams, for example, chemical, marine, and offshore renewable engineering. And also we are able to offer wind energy systems. Okay, science ones, science subjects. We don't have medical, doctoral or vet, unfortunately. However, we're very strong in pharmacy. So we're number 1 in the UK, and also our MPharm courses are accredited by the body, by this it's too long, but anyway, it's credited by the body. So basically students are eligible to become a pharmacist in the UK. I did have question from you guys that whether it's eligible for the South Korea. I think students, once they take this course, they have to do an exam in South Korea. So it's recognized in the UK, but I don't think it's qualified in South Korea to become a pharmacist, but it gives you that option to become a qualified pharmacist in South Korea. But in terms of the accreditation in the UK, yes, definitely accredited in the UK to become a pharmacist, no problem at all. I mean, but what I do need to remind you is that because our MPharm course is accredited, which means the spaces are very limited and it's very compatible. Okay, and then it's very normal that we can't give a decision within probably around about May time. Usually they take so long because it's not about meet the minimum entry requirement. It's about us have to take the top ones. We have to take from the top. Okay, we usually select students who already have the grades, achieved grades, rather than students who have not got their grades. I mean, usually what happens is if the student, for example, are waiting for their grades, but if their existing grades are high, are good, and then we were able to consider it, put them on the waiting list, but then we'll have to wait until later on in the year to see if we still have any space left. And then if the student got the grades with, obviously with the grades that we're satisfied, and then we are able to offer them an offer. But I get it, a lot of the times when it gets to that point, it doesn't leave student much time to apply for the visa and all that, so they tend to defer. But we don't really, because of the competitiveness, and we don't tend to defer them that often unless it's very, very bright students. So just so that it can be quite competitive for the MPharm course. But saying that, students are also eligible, or you're welcome to apply for the biomedical science courses, and then because they have a lot of similarity with the MPharm course, and then again that is number one in the UK. So the only difference is that you don't get the accreditation to become a pharmacist. But then I always say to the student, how can you be so sure that you wanted to become a pharmacist after 5 years' time, right? You might want to change your mind. Okay. Yeah, because a pharmacist covers so much more ranges of, of the pharmaceutical side. Like, for example, you might want to do a pharmaceutical manufacturing, you might want to do, cancer research, or you might want to do the drug discovery, for example, so it's so many different times you might want to change your mind. So I actually personally think like biomedical science, it gives you so much more opportunity for you to go on the master's course to become an expert in that area rather than just set your life on pharmacy for like 4 and 5 years. Okay, so apart from that, we also have forensic science, but obviously that needs students to have strong knowledge in chemistry and also in biology. Forensic science is not something every university can offer. Again, it's a niche course, and then we're actually number one in the UK. Okay. So here, just give you some ideas of the postgraduate courses that we offer. Like I say, it's all based on biomedical science, but then we are able to distinguish them in many different areas for students to choose from. That includes also, like I said, cancer therapies, and also clinical pharmacy as well, if you wish. And there is this course, I found it very interesting, which is artificial intelligence and application, because some of the core modules might be delivered actually by science, similarly with chemistry and data science. There is a story about the artificial intelligence. I always like to tell people is that, you know, we all know how artificial AI is such a big thing in our daily life now. Probably everybody can't live without AI. But we launched this AI course in 2019. Okay, so literally the year after joining university. Have a think about it yourself. Did you know exactly what AI was back in 2019? I mean, I didn't. I know sort of what AI is, but like, I have a general idea about what AI was at that time, but I never knew what AI could do now. Okay. And personally, AI is like my therapist now. I just chat everything with AI, but also helps with my work as well. And I think back 6 years ago, 7 actually. I mean, we were able to bring a course that evolved so quickly and then so fascinating in a way that it started to take over in a bit. It was a bit scary. It's kind of taken over a bit of our lives in a way. But then this just again, it shows you how great we are leading, in the area, in the industry, that we were able to foresee what the future trend was back in 2019, and we were able to launch this course as a conversion course. Okay, so basically we make sure that students without the background, without the language, the coding background, are also able to do the AI course. So this is fantastic in a way. Again, it just shows how great we are in this industry, and then leading, and then many of the professors, they are very much like, well knowledge. I just admire them so much, honestly. I always think, every time I think back, I'm just like, wow, this is really good that they were able to offer the course, and then it has been evolved so quickly and then scarily. Yeah. So, okay, this is the course. And another one is the chemistry with data science or / AI. So this course will be delivered by, computer science, and then, but also with chemistry, and also with a bit of involvement in business school as well. We do have data science. We actually have quite a lot of data science. We have data science on its own, that's delivered by business school. We also have data science with chemical engineering, but also with the software development as well. And we also have data science with business analysis with consulting. So, I mean, data is a big thing, but it's all about what would you like to use data for, right? So So I mean, we don't we were able to have this data science course, but just to focus on chemistry. But also, as I mentioned, for the business course, we were able to have the data course, and then just to suit the business needs on, because they were all totally different. Okay, yeah. And then talking about our great business school, we have so many titles and ranking are so high. We can talk a long time about it. And every course, every department are actually accredited by the professional body. Okay, so for example, you know, the human resource management are accredited by the CIPD, and you know, for the accounting and finance, it's by CIMA. You know, so that's a Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and also our accounting and finance courses are eligible for the course for the module exemption from ACCA as well. Okay, so here are the rankings, which you can have a look in your own time. And accounting and finance, #1 in the UK again, the marketing #3, and the MBA is #5. I think what I would really like to mention about the distinguishedness about the marketing course is that, so although many literally all university can offer marketing course as a module, as a course, okay, but not all university can actually offer marketing as a department, because to be able to launch a department, you need so many resources, not just for the resources where you can teach, but also like your involvement with the industry and your research areas, and how many you know, citations, you know, the papers that your professors have, you know, published and all that. So it needs so much more resources to be able to open up marketing departments for any department. Okay, so we were able to do that. And then we only have 4 courses for marketing department. So the difference is that for all of our department marketing courses, so all students, so for the first semester they will be studying, you know, the basic marketing knowledges and things, okay, but however, for all of the students in second semester, they will have to be put into different groups randomly. So that means it can be a South Korean student and a Chinese student, an Indian student, you don't know. And then each of the group, what they will have to do is they will have to work with a real company. Okay, so when I say a real company, that could be an NGO, it could be a well-established company, it could be a newly started company. So what you need to do is you need to go to this company, work with their marketing team, analyze their marketing strategy, and then use what we've studied in the first semester, and then you need to analyze it and write a paper as a group, and then you will then have to do a presentation in front of not just your teacher, but also the senior personnel from the company. Okay, so again, so I always say to students, this is your great opportunity to expose yourself to employer, and then take it as an interview opportunity. Okay, because very often of the time, and then when you have a good relation, and then your work with the company is very smooth, and you know, when they have vacancies, they would like to ask you, or you can, you know, actively looking for a job. So that is a great head start. Okay. So that is the marketing course. And then again, so for the accounting and finance, our department students, they are able to, you know, use one of the great things is that they can use the amplified trading bootcamp, where they can get access to the real, like, live trading stimulation, and then they can cover the multiple rows in the process. And then those stimulations, those figures, those numbers are live, and then they're real. So it's not like something we give students a fake one for you to play about. It's actually that you're actually have the opportunity to really engage with it. Okay. Okay. Here, so if you look at the MBM courses, so I've already mentioned the business analysis consulting course and the data analytics. So it depends, student wanted to focus on the consulting part, or they just want to do the data analytics. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we do have the business management where students don't have to have any business background, but also we do have this MBA course, which the students, they do have, they need to have the work experience, at least 3 years full-time working experience at a senior level, at a managerial level at least, and they have to be 24 years old, because our MBA course is aiming at to train students to become a CEO level rather than an entry-level MBA course. Okay. And then there's here, and also we have another very niche one. It's an 18-month course that is in collaboration with Italian university and with us. So you have 6 months in Italy, and then 6 months in Glasgow, and then 6 months at a place of your own choice. Yeah. Okay. Entry requirements, generally speaking, I know you're looking for the postgraduate. Generally, we're looking for between 65 to 70 equivalents, and if either GPA or it's like 100%. So yeah, so we'll have a look, and then if the students are falling short of the general entry requirement, but if they have a good grades for the relevant modules, then we will be looking at that as well. So we offer some flexibility. And then in terms of the English language, you accept IELTS widely, but also we do accept the language cert and TOEFL, and also the Oxford International Duolingo as well. Cost-wise, this is just a general idea, indication of how much you'll be paying to study in the UK for a year. But I think the cost of living now for the UKVI, their guidance is that you have to have over £15,000. That includes like accommodation and life expenses and transportation, social activity, for example. Okay, here. Scholarship, I might have to ask you to take some notes because these can be a bit outdated for postgraduate. So for engineering, for September 2026 intake, we offer 2 types of scholarship. So the first one is £9,000 automatic. So all international student gets it. The second one is up to £12,000 depending on the fee. So £12,000, but that's based on merit. We will have to select from, the well-achieved ones. But if not, then the student will still get, yes, the £9,000 off for free. And for all international students. So has humanity or social sciences that student gets, so the automatic scholarship is £6,000. And they do have a £10,000 scholarship, but they only have 6 spaces for that. Yeah. For science, they have automatic is £7,000, and they have a £9,000. Again, that is selective, and students do need to apply. Okay. And so SBS, so student and so business school, again, that's a higher, so they have a automatic scholarship is up to £10,000 depending on the fee, but if the students are well achieved one, it's up to £12,000. Okay, so I think we're actually very generous in terms of scholarship. So if you do have any students who are concerned or kind of needed some scholarship to convert, please do get in touch with me. Okay. Okay, so other steps I think are just very much straightforward. So we apply for, so once you get the offer, then you pay for deposit. Deposit is £5,000, by the way, and then you can apply for accommodation, and then you will get the cash. So okay, I think almost done. I think last thing I do want to mention is a career service, which I know you wanted to know a lot of like the career aspects for students. I can, confidently say we do have our career service, which, for example, student can use it for free during their study, but they can also use the resources 5 years for free after graduation. When I say the career service great, especially in terms of the job vacancies we can offer the database, because we are able to offer the students, in specifically for international students and then for graduate jobs rather than mature jobs, because we know that the students, especially international students, will be a bit of a disadvantage when they compete with, local or also students who have had many years of work experience. It's not fair. So we'll provide that database just to cater those international students. But we also offer support, which is, I found it very helpful, because the support covers one-to-one CV workshops, and then also the job application. We help you, we actually look at your whole applications, how to write your CV in the way that UK wants, and also we help you with the cover letter as well. So basically, we'll make sure we get you ready through the pipeline to make sure you're ready before you graduate, and also we can help you with the mock interviews as well. Okay, so I mean, all these are really helpful for students who wanted to look for the jobs in the UK.